Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Prabhu Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna, Raju Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna
कृष्ण कृष्णाय भूतले श्रीमद् राधा स्वामी नाम नमो विष्णुपराय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नामिने नमः सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचंडे निर्विशेष शून्य पश्चात देशधारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद स्वामी शिवाचार्य गौर भक्त हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे राम हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण कृष्ण
हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण राम हरे राम राम हरे
हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम हरे राम
कृष्णपादाय कृष्णपस्थाय हरे श्रीमती भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचंडे विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्य हरे श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवसाति गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण हरे हरे राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमती भक्तिवेदांत रघुनाथ स्वामी नितिनामिने, नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमती भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी नितिनामिने, नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य, जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री साथी गौर भक्त वृंद, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे, हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama
Agora vai estar no ar, ter no teu.
Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna
Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Brahmarama Mataji, Sandhya Mataji, Deepa Mataji, Raju Prabhu, Samyukta Mataji, Suman Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. All glory to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much for joining today. Just to give me 2 minutes, we'll begin. Yeah, we'll start with Mangalacharya. Thank you so much for waiting. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshar Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Putale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavranda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukhaṁ karoti vācālaṁ pangum langayate girim yatkrupa tamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanyam Ishwaram Om Apavitra Pavitro Va Sarvavastam Gato Piva Yasmaret Pundari Kaksham Sabhyabhyantaram Suchi Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu. Just a second. Yeah, I'm just opening which verse we are in actually. Anybody remember? Actually, otherwise I have to refer video. Yesterday I didn't send that message. Did I send? I forgot.
There was
First
one
canto,
long purport, Prabhuji, I think 10th or somewhere, where
12th one, 12th one, I think.
number auntie, we were all of us together were about 11 or 12 people. So it would be somewhere around that. One long purport was there where Brahmaramba Mataji was reading, I think.
I think correct now. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I'm just sharing. Huh? Yeah, we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, entitled as Creation, chapter 18, entitled as Maharaja Parikshit cursed by a Brahmana boy. Then we are at text 12. I think this one we read, I think, yesterday. Anyway, we'll read this one. I have done. Yeah. Mata, Deepa Mata, you can start.
This one, Prabhuji. Okay. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. We have just begun the performance of this fruitive activity. One second, Prabhuji. Yeah. We have just begun the performance of this fruitive activity, a sacrificial fire, without certainty of its results due to the many imperfections in our action. Our bodies have become lack from the smoke, but we are factually pleased by the nectar of the lotus feet of personality of Godhead, Govinda, which you are distributing. Purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The sacrificial fire kindled by the sages of Naimisharanya was certainly full of smoke and doubts because of so many flaws. The first flaw is that there is an acute scarcity of expert brahmanas able to carry out such performances successfully in this age of Kali. Any discrepancy in such sacrifices spoils the whole show, and the result is uncertain, like agricultural enterprises. The good result of tilling the paddy fields depends on providential rain, and therefore the result is uncertain. Similarly, performance of any kind of sacrifice in this age of Kali is also uncertain. Unscrupulous, greedy brahmanas of the age of Kali induce the innocent public to such uncertain sacrificial shows without disclosing the scriptural injunction that in the age of Kali there is no fruitful sacrificial performance, but the sacrifice of the congregational chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Sutta Goswami was narrating the transcendental activities of the Lord before the congregation of sages, and they were factually perceiving the result of hearing these transcendental activities. One can feel this practically as one can feel the result of eating food. Spiritual realization acts in that way. The sages of Naimisharanya were practically suffering from the smoke of sacrificial fire and were doubtful about the result. But by hearing from a realized person like Sutta Goswami, they were fully satisfied. In the Brahma Vaivarta Purana, Vishnu tells Shiva that in the age of Kali, men full of anxieties of various kinds can vainly labor in fruitive activity and philosophical speculation. But when they are engaged in devotion service, the result is sure and certain, and there's no less of energy. There is no loss of energy. In other words, nothing performed for spiritual realization or for material benefit can be successful without the devotional service to the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you. It's a period. So all other things like philosophical speculations, fruitive activities, karma kanda, jnana kanda, ashtanga yoga, those are all nothing in front of devotional service. But when they are engaged in devotional service, the result is sure and certain. There is no loss of energy. Neha vikrama nashosti pratyavana vidyate salpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. So that is Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, whatever little service in the devotional service, little effort we made, it can save the danger. The danger we see in this material world is the death. The more we perform, the more we purify our existence, Prabhupada writes. So that's the thing. And in the other words, nothing performed for spiritual realization or for material benefit can be successful without the devotional service to the Lord. All other processes, nothing. Just Rishikena, Rishikesha, Sevana, Bhakti Ruchyate. In front of Rishikesha's Seva, all other processes, nothing. They all the Ashtanga Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, there are some material motives there. They are not complete, fully surrendered devotees. Halfway. Yeah, let us continue. Samyukta, can you please read?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: the value of a moment's association with the devotee of the Lord cannot even be compared to the attainment of heavenly planets or liberation from matter. And what to speak of worldly benedictions in the form of material prosperity, which are for those who are meant for death. Purport: when there are some similar points, it is possible to compare one thing to another. One cannot compare the association of a pure devotee to anything material. Men who are addicted to material happiness aspire to reach the heavenly planets like the moon, Venus, and Indraloka. And those who are advanced in material philosophical speculations aspire after liberation from all material bondage. When one becomes frustrated with all kinds of material advancement, one desires the opposite type of liberation, which is called apunarbhava, or no rebirth. But the pure devotees of the Lord do not aspire after the happiness obtained in the heavenly kingdom, nor do they aspire after liberation from material bondage. In other words, for the pure devotees of the Lord, the material pleasures obtainable in the heavenly planets are like phantas, phantasmagoria, and because they are already liberated from all material conceptions of pleasure and distress, they are factually liberated even in the material world. This means that the pure devotees of the Lord are engaged in a transcendental existence, namely in the loving service of the Lord, both in the material world and in the spiritual world. As a government servant is always the same, either in the office or at home or at any place, so a devotee has nothing to do with anything material, for he is exclusively engaged in the transcendental service of the Lord. Since he has nothing to do with anything material, what pleasure can he derive from material benedictions like kingship or other overlordships, which are finished quickly with the end of the body? Devotional service is eternal, it has no end because it is spiritual. Therefore, since the assets of a pure devotee are completely different from material assets, there is no comparison between the two. Suta Goswami was a pure devotee of the Lord, and therefore his association with the rishis in Naimisharanya is unique. In the material world, association with gross materialist is veritably condemned. The materialist is called Yosit Sangi, or one who is much attached to material entanglement, women, and other paraphernalia. Such attachment is conditioned because it drives away the benedictions of life and prosperity. And just the opposite is Bhagavata Sangi, or one who is always in the association with the Lord's name, form, qualities, etc. Such association is always desirable, it is worshipable, it is praiseworthy, and one may accept it as the highest goal of life. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Sadhu Sangha, Sadhu Sangha, Sadhu Sangha hoy, Lavamatra, Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi hoy. The association makes a lot of difference. The association with the devotees and association with the Supreme Lord. Bhagavata Sangi. The last lines of, Prabhupada purport, very essential. With association with the Lord's name, form, Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, etc. Such association is always desirable, it is worshipable, it is praiseworthy, and one may accept it as the highest goal of life. That is, it is priceless. That means very valuable thing, right? Spiritual concepts and spiritual topics, spiritual knowledge which connects to Supreme Lord is an asset, not material asset. It's an eternal asset actually. Prabhupada writes, right? Here, assets. Just a second. Say, Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Since the assets of a pure devotee are completely different from material assets, there is no comparison between the two. Suta Goswami was a pure devotee of the Lord, and therefore his association with rishis in Naimisharanya is unique. In the material world, association with gross materialist is variably condemned. Right? This is one of the unfavorable devotional service. What is that? Janasanga Laulyam. Janasanga Laulyam is intense greed to acquire for material things, to fulfill material desires. Janasanga, association with worldly like-minded people, world topics. We see every day. I mean, those people. How many of in Hyderabad city, for example, how many of there are, I think, 3 or 4 crores of people. How many of them practicing devotional service and coming into association with devotees and hearing about Supreme? Very less, very less. That's a thing. So association with the Supreme Lord, association with the pure devotee, that makes us successful in the spiritual life. Right? Constant association. How can we constant association with Krishna? By chanting the holy names of the Lord, by following the instructions of Guru, Sadhu, Shastra. Right? The 3 pramanas: Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. Let us continue. Sandhya Mata, will you be able to read?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. The personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, Govinda, is the exclusive shelter for all great living beings.
and his transcendental attributes cannot even be measured by such masters of mystic powers as Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma. Can anyone who is expert in relishing nectar, rasa, ever be fully satiated by hearing topics about him? Purport. Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma are two chiefs of the demigods. They are full of mystic powers. For example, Lord Shiva drank an ocean of poison, of which one drop was sufficient to kill an ordinary living being. Similarly, Brahma could create many powerful demigods, including Lord Shiva. So, they are Ishwaras, or lords of the universe. But they are not the supreme powerful. The supreme powerful is Govinda, Lord Krishna. His transcendence and his He is the transcendence, and his transcendental attributes cannot be measured even by such powerful Ishwaras as Shiva and Brahma. Therefore, Lord Krishna is the exclusive shelter of the greatest of all living beings. Brahma is counted amongst the living beings, but he is the greatest of all of us. And why is the greatest of all the living beings so much attached to the transcendental topics of Lord Krishna? Because he is the reservoir of all enjoyment. Everyone wants to release some kind of taste in everything. But one who is engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord can derive unlimited pleasure from such engagement. The Lord is unlimited, and his name, attributes, pastimes, touch, variegatedness, etc. are unlimited. And those who relish them can do so unlimitedly and still not feel satiated. This fact is confirmed in the Padma Purana. Ramante yogino nante satyanda chidatmani iti rama pade nasho param brahmabhi diyate. The mystics derive unlimited transcendental pleasures from the absolute truth, and therefore the absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, is also known as Rama. There is no to such transcendental discourses. In mundane affairs, there is the law of satiation, but in transcendence, there is no such satiation. Suta Goswami desired to continue the topics of Lord Krishna before the sages of Naimisharanya, and the sages also expressed their readiness to hear from him continuously. Since the Lord is transcendent and his attributes are transcendental, such discourses increase receptive mode of the purified audience. Thank you, Prabhuji.
I'm speaking on it, sorry. Wonderful verse from Padma Purana. Ramante yogi no nante satyananda chidatmani iti rama pade naso param brahma abhidayadiyate. So, satiation means bore water. We don't get any bore. If it is getting bore, means there is this is not a material thing. Why? Because it's a spiritual thing. It is eternal topics. This is always there. These teachings are always there. And every time Vaishnavacharyas and their realization, every time they read, they get the fresh feelings, fresh realizations, enhancements in our understanding. The mystic derive unlimited transcendental pleasures from the absolute truth. Then therefore, the supreme absolute truth, the personality of God, is also known as Rama. Rama meaning, another meaning is transcendental pleasure. There is no end to such transcendental discourses. In mundane affairs, there is a law of satiation. See, Prabhupada writes in his purpose, Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola. How many times you can say Coca-Cola? You are gonna be dissatisfied. You cannot recite or pronounce or understand. That is a material sound vibration. Whereas spiritual sound vibration, spiritual topics are eternal topics, as long as it's ever increasing transcendental pleasure. Chanting, you all know Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur. How many rounds he do every day? He does every day?
84 Prabhuji. 84 rounds.
300,000 holy names.
Ah.
Yeah. Only 2 hours of sleep. That also in his mind, always Krishna's name, chanting only. That can be possible. We have that is seen in the past times of the Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Leela. So unless one gets that, the transcendental happiness and the bliss, how can he continue? So there is actually the one verse, I forgot exactly. This 1 year is won't enough to hear the holy names, hear the glories of the Krishna. Want millions of years to glorify and hear. So he never satiated. These topics never satiated means bore, and there is no question of boredom. Very one important point from this, purport, because of the transcendental nature. These topics are beyond 3 modes. All the material nature designed through these 3 modes: mode of ignorance, mode of passion, mode of goodness. So these transcendental topics beyond the 3 modes, and it's on the platform of soul and super soul. These are eternal topics. Soul is eternal, super soul is eternal. Krishna in the form of super soul. That's it. The topics connects to soul, super soul are eternal. Every time it's always there, right? So that's why we have to repeatedly understand, read, contemplate, and apply in our life all these teachings. Nicely explained. Yes. Radhika Mata in hearing. Brahmanama Mata, can you please read?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you for joining, Mata. Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah.
O Suta Goswami, you are a learned and pure devotee of the Lord, because the personality of Godhead is your chief object of service. Therefore, please describe to us the pastimes of the Lord, which are above all material conception, for we are anxious to receive such messages. Purport. The speaker on the transcendental activities of the Lord should have only one object of worship and service: Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the audience for such topics should be anxious to hear about him. When such a combination is possible, namely a qualified speaker and a qualified audience, it is then and there very much congenial to continue discourses on the transcendence. Professional speakers and a materially absorbed audience cannot derive real benefit from such discourses. Professional speakers make a show of Bhagavata Saptaha for the sake of family maintenance, and the materially disposed audience hears such discourses of Bhagavata Saptaha for some material benefit, namely religiosity, wealth, gratification of the senses, or liberation. Such Bhagavatam discourses are not purified from the contamination of the material qualities, but the discourses between the saints of Naimisharanya and Sri Suta Goswami are on the transcendental level. There is no motive for material gain. In such discourses, unlimited transcendental pleasure is relished both by the audience and by the speaker, and therefore they can continue the topics for many thousands of years. Now, Bhagavata Saptahas are held for 7 days only, and after finishing the show, both the audience and the speaker become engaged in material activities as usual. They can do so because the speaker is not Bhagavat Prudhana and the audience is not Susrusatam, as explained above.
Yes, Mata. Thank you, Mata. This is proper writing here. There are Bhagavata Saptaha for that particular time only, and for the some material benefit only. Actually, Shrunvatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana. Not that one. There is one more verse. Nasta Prayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavati Uttama Sloka Bhaktir Bhavati Naishti. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Not for only 7 days. Every day we have to read some part, at least take time and read. That is what Nityam Bhagavata Seva, not for Prabhupada writes here, Bhagavata Saptaha, for the sake of, they maintain, professional speakers maintain, for material benefit, for some material benefit, namely religiosity, wealth, gratification of the senses and liberation, something like that. Such Bhagavata discourses are not purified from the contamination of the material qualities, but the discourses between the saints of Naimisharanya and Sri Suta Goswami are on the transcendental level. There is no motive for material gain. In such discourses, unlimited transcendental pleasure is relished by both the audience and by the speaker. Therefore, they can continue the topics for many thousands of years. The eternal nature of these topics, transcendental nature of these topics. And see, Bhagavatam is a Paramahamsa Samhita. Bhagavatam. That means it's not for, it gives the complete pure devotional service. This is the Vaishnavas glorious and relishable, Grandharaj Srimad Bhagavatam. That's why we say, right? Grandharaj Srimad Bhagavatam. After dissatisfaction, after writing all the, 4 Vedas, 18 Puranas, 108 Upanishads, Vedanta Sutra, Upavedas, everything he has written. Vasudev, dissatisfied. Narada Muni helped him. No, you have given everything, Dharmartha Kama Moksha, but that's so. Then where is the essence and the ultimate goal? So you have to give the pure devotional service. Then he compiled all these topics in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam, essence of all the Vedic literature. Bhagavata Pradhana, and the audience is not Shishdhana, as explained about that. So that's some material motivation is there. Yeah, Mata is done. Now Prabhu is Sapan Prabhu. Can you please read? Are you there, Hare Krishna? I think you're speaking on Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, yes.
Wanna read? Yeah.
Yeah. O Sutta Goswami, please describe those topics of the Lord by which Maharaj Parikshit, whose intelligence was fixed on liberation, attained the lotus feet of the Lord, who is the shelter of Garuda, the king of birds. Those topics were vibrated by the son of Vyasa, Srila Sukadeva. Purport. There is some controversy among the students on the path of liberation. Such transcendental students are known as impersonalists and devotees of the Lord. The devotee of the Lord worships the transcendental form of the Lord, whereas the impersonalist meditates upon the glaring effulgence or the bodily rays of the Lord, known as Brahmajyoti. Here in this verse, it is said that Maharaj Parikshit attained the lotus feet of the Lord by instructions in knowledge delivered by the son of Vyasadeva, Srila Sukadeva Goswami. Sukadeva Goswami was also an impersonalist in the beginning, as he himself admitted in the Bhagavatam 2.1.9, but later on he was attracted by the transcendental pastimes of the Lord and thus became a devotee. Such devotees with perfect knowledge are called Mahabhagavatas, or the first class devotees. There are 3 classes of devotees, namely the Prakrita, the Madhyama, and the Mahabhagavata. The Prakrita, or the third class devotees, are temple worshippers without specific knowledge of the Lord and the Lord's devotees. The Madhyama, or the second class devotee, knows well the Lord's devotees, the neophytes, and the non-devotees also. But the Mahabhagavata, or the first class devotee, sees everything in relation with the Lord and the Lord present in everyone's relation. The Mahabhagavata therefore does not make any distinction particularly between a devotee and a non-devotee. Maharaj Parikshit was such a Mahabhagavata devotee because he was initiated by the Mahabhagavata devotee Sukadeva Goswami. He was equally kind even to the personality of Kali, and what to speak of others. Stop.
Yeah. So let others can read. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Raju Prabhuji, can you please read?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So there are many instances in the transcendental histories of the world of an impersonalist who has later become a devotee. But a devotee has never become an impersonalist. This very fact proves that one transcendental steps. This very fact proves that on the transcendental steps, the step occupied by devotee is higher than the step occupied by the impersonalist. It is also stated in the Bhagavad Gita 12.5 that a person stuck on the impersonal step undergo more sufferings than achievement of reality. Therefore, knowledge imparted by Sukadeva Goswami unto Maharaj Parikshit helped him attain the service of the Lord. And this stage of perfection is called Apavarga, or the perfect stage of liberation. Simple knowledge of liberation is material knowledge. actual freedom from material bondage is called liberation, but attainment in the transcendental service of the Lord is called the perfect stage of liberation. Such a stage is attained by knowledge and renunciation. As we have already explained in the Bhagavatam 1.2.12, and perfect knowledge is delivered by Sukadeva Goswami, results in the attainment of the transcendental service of the Lord. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Prabhupada writes, connected verses. In the beginning, he was impersonalist, Sukadeva Goswami 219. Saintly King was certainly situated perfectly in transcendent, yet I was still attracted by the delineation of the pastimes of the Lord, who described by the enlightened verses. Impersonal form. Okay, so I just want to read some of the connected verses here. 12.5. Teshodikaras tesham abhyaktya bhakta chetasam abhyakta hi gatir dukkam deha vadbhir avapyate. For those whose minds are attached to the unmanifested impersonal picture of the Supreme, advancement is very troublesome. To make progress in the discipline is always difficult for those who are embodied. Bhagavatam, let me see. 1-12. The seriously inquisitive student or sage, well equipped with knowledge and detachment, realizes that absolute truth by rendering devotional service in terms of what he has heard from the Vedanta Shruti. Absolute truth. So ultimately, what he's saying, absolute truth by rendering devotional service. Bhagavan realization. That inclusive of impersonal, that inclusive of Paramatma realization also. Bhagavan is the topmost realization. This is what the verse. Whose influence was fixed on liberation, attaining the lotus feet of the Lord, who is the shelter of Garuda, the king of birds. Those topics were vibrated by the son of Vyasa, Srila Sukadeva. Okay, so that's the thing. Let us read. Akincham Prabhuji.
Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Thus, please narrate to us the narration of unlimited, for they are purifying in Supreme. They were spoken to Maharaj Parikshit, and they are very dear to pure devotees, being full of bhakti yoga. Purport. What was spoken to Maharaj Parikshit and what is very dear to pure devotees is Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is mainly full of narrations of activities of the Supreme Unlimited, and therefore it is the science of Bhakti Yoga, or the devotional service of the Lord. Thus, it is Para or Supreme, because although it is enriched with all knowledge and religion, it is specifically enriched with the devotional service of the Lord.
Thank you, Prabhuji. That purifies. Please narrate to us the narrations of the unlimited, for they are purifying and supreme. They were spoken to Maharaj Parikshit. They were very dear to the pure devotees, being full of Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti Yoga. Bhagavatam teaches us how to practice Bhakti Yoga. Yeah. So now, Lalitno Miravanar Prabhuji. Okay. I think everybody is turned on.
Okay, Prabhuji. Is everyone done, Prabhu?
Yeah. Radhika Mataji and Suman Prabhu, they are in hearing mode.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Everybody.
Okay, Prabhuji. Shri Sudha Goswami said, "Oh God, although we are born in a mixed caste, we are still promoted in birthright simply by serving and following the great who are advanced in knowledge. Even by conversing with such great souls, one can without delay cleanse oneself of all disqualifications resulting from the lower births." Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Sudha Goswami did not take his birth in Brahmana family. He was born in a family of mixed caste or an uncultured low family. But because of higher association like Sri Sukadeva Goswami and the great rishis of Naimisharanya, certainly the disqualification of inferior birth was washed off. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu followed this principle in pursuance of the Vedic usages. And by his transcendental association, he elevated many low-born or those qualified by birth or action to the status of devotional service and established them in the position of acharyas or authorities. He clearly stated that any man, whatever he may be, whether a Brahmana or Shudra by birth or a householder or mendicant in order of the society, if he is conversant with the science of Krishna, he can be accepted as Acharya or Guru, a spiritual master. Should I read one more, Prabhu, or shall I stop it?
Yes.
Yeah. Suta Goswami learned the science of Krishna from great rishis and authorities like Shukadeva Goswami and Vyasadeva. And he was so qualified that even the sages of Naimisharanya eagerly wanted to hear from him the science of Krishna in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. So he had the double association of great souls by hearing and preaching. Transcendental science or the science of Krishna has to be learned from the authorities. And when one preaches the science, he becomes still more qualified. So Suta Goswami had both the advantages, and thus undoubtedly he was completely freed from all disqualifications of low birth and mental agonies. This verse definitely proves that Srila Sukadeva Goswami did not refuse to teach Suta Goswami about the transcendental science, nor did the sages of Naimisharanya refuse to hear lessons from him because of his inferior birth. This means that thousands of years ago, there was no bar to learning or preaching the transcendental science because of inferior birth. The rigidity of so-called caste system in Hindu society became prominent within only 100 years or so, when the number of Dvijabandhus or disqualified men in the families of higher castes increased. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu revived the original Vedic system and he elevated Thakur Haridasa to the position of Namacharya, or the authority in the preaching the glories of the holy name of the Lord. Although His Holiness Srila Haridas Thakura was pleased to appear in a family of Mohammedans. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I'll complete this. Thank you. Such is the power of pure devotees of the Lord. The Ganges water is accepted as pure, and one can become purified after taking a bath in the waters of Ganges. But as far as the great devotees of the Lord are concerned, they can purify a degraded soul even by being seen by the low-born. What to speak of association? Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to purify the whole atmosphere of the polluted world by sending qualified preachers all over the world. And it remains with the Indians to take up this task scientifically and thus do the best kind of humanitarian work. The mental diseases of the present generation are more acute than bodily diseases. It is quite fit and proper to take up the preaching of Srimad Bhagavatam all over the world without delay. Mahatmanam Abhidhana also means dictionary of great devotees, or a book full of the words of great devotees. Such a dictionary of the words of great devotees and those of the Lord are in the Vedas and allied literatures, specifically the Srimad Bhagavatam. Very good. Yeah. See that there is the thing. Anybody can practice anywhere in the part of this universe. Can be able to practice. Lowest among man. What is that? Chandala, dog eater. And there is no caste, creed, gender difference. Anybody actually. I mean, so there is no differentiation. I mean, lowest born, Prabhupada writes about again, Sri Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur. He appeared in a family of Mohammedan, but he last Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made him as a Namacharya, Acharya. His Holiness Sri Haridas Thakur was pleased to appear in a family of Mohammedans, preaching the glories of the holy name of the Lord. Who? Thakur Haridas. Vijabandhu, you all know the meaning of Vijabandhu? Twice born. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji and Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
I mean, it's okay, Prabhuji, I'm asking Vijabandhu. Any Matajis or Prabhu's try? What is the meaning of Vijabandhu? Twice born, we say.
Shall I say, Prabhuji?
Yeah, you can explain. Yeah. Chapandu, yes.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. a person who is born in, what is a Brahmana family, and who takes 2 initiations, 2 births, one after initiation and before one, while taking birth. So that is Dvijabandhu, but he's only acting as, not acting as a pure Brahmana, but by caste he is a Brahmana. That's, they are known as Dvijabandhus. Caste Brahmanas.
One is twice born. There's twice born. One is from one's mother's womb, that is material birth. There is a spiritual birth, taking initiation from a proper spiritual guru, spiritual master. Then that is the second birth. Yeah. Okay, Prabhuji. So now 8:45, Prabhuji. Okay, everybody's done. All of us read one verse. So now I think Lavanya joined, but it's okay. We can go to verses recitation, Prabhuji. Okay. We'll continue from this verse tomorrow. So let us go through Kunti Maharani prayers. Just a minute. In Kunti prayers. Yeah, yesterday we have practiced those 2 verses, Prabhuji. We can, these 2 verses. Yeah.
Which 2 verses, Prabhu?
18 and 19.
Acha, the first 2 again. Huh?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, Prabhu. So we'll go to the third one. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Prabhu, actually, I'm not going it systematically, being these things are very short. So could you understand the meanings of this, Prabhuji? Just by reciting, it's okay, but could you understand? Namashe Purusham Tvadyam means obeisances unto you. Ishwaram Prakriti Param. Who are you? You are the Ishvara and Prakriti Param. The Ishvara for everything. Alaksham is important. Alaksham means what? The invisible. Yeah, that is the main important thing. What are you? You are invisible to everyone.
Sarvabhutanam.
But you are present both inside and outside of everyone.
Yeah.
Simple terms, actually, simple shlokas. But then compare, what is a whole meaning is there in it.
Yeah.
The second thing also, like Maya Javanika Channam. Javanika is important, Prabhuji. It is curtain. But covered by the curtain of Maya. Ajna Dokshajam Avyayam. Avyayam means irreproachable, means
cannot approach. Senses.
What you say? Ajna Dokshajam means those people who are in the material world cannot see the transcendent, right?
Correct.
So that is what.
Yep.
Now Lakshasa is important actually. Lakshasa means cannot see. What they cannot see? Who cannot see? Muda Drisha. Muda people cannot see. What? You who are covered. Like what?
Yeah.
A dancer, any stage performer cannot be identified who is, because he is completely covered with some other, what is this thing? Like that, you are also covered. So you cannot be seen. So these 2 shlokas, Kunti was explaining how you cannot be seen. But still I am praying to you. This is how she started. Okay.
Okay.
Is it okay with everyone?
Yes,
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Yeah,
Yes.
Prabhuji,
very
can you
simple.
explain in the first shloka why she's calling him invisible? అంటే అందరికి తెలియదు అతని రియల్ స్వరూపం ఏంటో అందరికి తెలియదు.
Yeah. No one knows him actually, because
no one knows him in reality.
In reality, yes, that is the main thing. And now she will say, some people say that you are this, some people say that you are that, some people say you are this, you are like this, you are like that. I don't know. At last she will say, but one thing I know, you are Bhaktavatsala. That's how she concludes. So please stay. At last, somehow or other she convinces. So please stay. That's it. Main name is Krishna. Please stay for some more time. She starts like this. You are invisible. You don't know. Anyone cannot see you. People can never see you actually what you are. So that is how she started. So we will go to 20. 20 and 21.
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah, we will go to 20 and 21. So, జస్ట్ ఐ మీన్ ఇది చదువుతుంటే 19th చదువుతుంటే ఒకటి గుర్తొస్తుంది ప్రభుజీ. భగవంతుని చేతిలో మనందరం కీలు బొమ్మలు, దేవుడు చేసిన మనుషులు, దేవుడు చేసిన బొమ్మలు అంటాం కదా. ఎగ్జాక్ట్లీ యాజ్ అన్ యాక్టర్ డ్రెస్డ్ యాజ్ అ ప్లేయర్ ఇస్ నాట్ రికగ్నైజ్ బ్యాట్ అండ్ బ్యాట్ నడిపించేదంతా ఆయననే. అది
Yeah, but one thing, Prabhuji, he is a facilitator, but not a free will demolisher. Free will is always there, huh? Always there. But only once we surrender, then he acts. Till that time, he will just see. Of course, he will facilitate first, and he will become a spectator.
Correct.
ले भाई क्या करेगा देखता हूँ मैं, तू चल. It's like that. He will never play with free will. Free will is always there, but facilitate will arrange.
Yes.
Sometimes, Prabhuji, when we say this Keelu Bommalam, we are all playthings in front of his hand. People will think that he is responsible even for the bad things. No, it's not like that. Bad things are because of free will.
Bad thing, yes. Minute, we Prabhupada asked minute
Independence.
And using for our own selfish motives, not for Krishna's service. That's why we are here. Thank you, Prabhuji. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Lalitman Prabhuji. One question, Prabhuji. Actually, Prabhuji, I mean, like Krishna is sitting as a Paramatma in his every heart, right? Like whenever, like my cousin is, every time he argue with me, like he's sitting as a like Paramatma, and like when child is doing bad things, right? Parents will they won't allow, right? Like that, Krishna can also do like that because he knows, right? Like if it is free will also, he can like that. He always.
Why he is allowing to do, even though if it is free will?
Yeah. Yes, Prabhu.
Then why should we be here, Prabhu, in the material world? Material world is only for people who rejected him and came here to enjoy the free will. Whoever wanted to enjoy the free will, it has been facilitated. But he always gave a hope that I'm always with you, don't worry. Okay? Whenever you wanted to turn to me, come. That's it. The hope is always there. But he facilitated. Prabhuji, you know this trapeze act, Prabhu? Trapeze act?
Tell us, Prabhuji.
Circus law, if you see in the circus, the last thing every circus people will keep is trapeze act. Do you know that?
Tell us, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, can you please type and show that, Prabhu? Yeah, trapeze act is the best coordinated and coerced activity in any of the circus. Trapeze, TRAPEZE.
Meaning
trapeze artist. You can go to the images, Prabhuji. Then they will come to know what it is. You see this,
okay.
Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah.
You see this in circus? Yes, you can close this, Prabhuji. Please. So when will they do this? At the last. Okay? And Prabhuji, the circus fellow will train them in such a way that there will be no accidents. But still, it is the responsibility of the circus fellow to keep, a kind of net at the bottom of it. Yes. Why will he keep the net, Prabhu? See, he will train them. He will always train them in such a way that no mishap should happen. They are such perfectionists, but still he will have a net. In the same way, Prabhu, God wants to give us the free will completely, okay, to the way which we can do. But he always kept that net at the bottom. But if something really bad happens, I'm always there. Don't worry. So that is the reason why he is there with us. It's not to completely finger in our free will. But we get completely exhausted. He's always there as a net. Yes, he has given us all the training to how to use the free will and all, and how you can spoil yourself and all. He has given that freedom, that facilities, everything he has given. But he being a circus man, the organizer, who knows the good and bad of them, he has kept that net of he being with every individual living being. Even though if we are born in the, bomb in the stool, still if that, soul realizes this is the horrible thing which I could do, still even for that soul also the super soul is there with him. Actually, that is what he say. Prabhu, one thing, just ask your friend these two questions again, Prabhu. Are you really ready to listen what I say, or are you convinced to what you have already heard before? If you are really convinced, then it's okay. Thank you so much. And just bear him. Don't try to.
Yeah, this question from my cousin Prabhuji. He always argue with me. Yeah.
You should know the mood, Prabhu mean.
Yeah.
So that's the reason we should know. If he's inquisitive, then okay. Please give them knowledge. But he's argumentative. Please give him prasad. That's it.
Yeah. Okay.
So shall we go ahead?
Yes. Prabhu.
So this 1.8.20 in this, it is complete. What is say? The name antaro Vichitram. Now she is praying. What is she praying? Tatha Paramahamsa Nam Munina Mamalatmanam. Prabhu, where is the screen?
ఇది ఏమైందంటే ప్రభుజీ ఒకటి క్రోమ్ అప్డేట్ ఉండే అయిపోయింది అక్కడ ఓపెన్ చేస్తాను.
ఓకే,
అలా ఓపెన్ చేస్తాను.
Bhakti Yoga Vidhanartham Katham Pashyemahi Striyah. So this is how this goes actually. So what does this say? Krishna, you always transcendent to this material world. Why? The only purpose of your transcendent to the material, come to the material world is to give the Munis and Paramahamsas your association. By giving your association, what will you say? How Bhakti Yoga to be performed. That is for Muninam and Amalatmanam. But how can we as a woman, how can we understand all those things? So she is humbling herself more and more. But actually all the Paramahamsas and all the pure devotees will follow Kunti. So that is how it is. This is also known as Paramahamsa Stuti. But who is she praising? All the Munis and Paramahamsas. And she himself, what is she doing? I am a simple woman. How can I understand you? That is what she is doing.
Are you able to see, Prabhu?
No, Prabhu. It is rotating. For me, at least, I don't know about others.
Yes, Prabhu. For us also, it's refreshing still.
Yeah.
Let me. Yeah. Sorry, devotees. I'm just sharing now. Thank you for waiting. Okay. Yeah, let us start.
Okay. Next one, Prabhu. Yes. So can you all please repeat after me? Now you understood, na? Tata Paramahamsana Muninam Amalatmanam. Paramahamsa means advanced transcendentalists. Muninam means greatest philosophers and mental speculators. Amala Atmanam, those who are minds are completely competent to discern between spirit and matter. Means Jnana Yogis, completely who knows what is soul, who knows what is the matter. Okay. Bhakti Yoga Vidhanartham. You descend why? To give them how to perform Bhakti Yoga. Katham Pashyemahi Striyah. How can women? How can she know all these things? Oh Krishna, this is what she is praying in front of him. She is humbling herself that Krishna, you are, you only come descend for those pure devotees. But how can people like me, come to you? Or how can we understand what is you? So So this is why she's humbling herself. So can you all please repeat after me?
Yes.
Tatha paramahamsanam muninam amalatmanam.
Tata
Tatha paramahamsanam muninam amalatmanam. Tatha paramahamsanam muninam amalatmanam.
Tata paramahamsanam muninam amalatmanam.
Bhakti yoga vidhanartham katham pashyemahi striyaha.
Bhakti yoga vidhanartham katham pashyemahi striyaha.
Bhakti yoga vidhanartham katham pashyemahi striyaha.
Bhakti
yoga vidhanartham katham pashyemahi striyaha.
Bhakti yoga vidhanartham katham pashyemahi striyaha.
Bhakti yoga vidhanartham katham pashyemahi striyaha.
The whole shloka 3 times now. Tatha paramahamsanam muninam amalatmanam bhakti yoga vidhanartham katham pashyemahi striyaha.
Tatta paramahamsanam muninam amalatmanam bhakti yoga vidhanartham pashyemahi striyaha.
Tatha paramahamsanam muninam amalatmanam bhakti yoga vidhanartham katham pashyemahi striyaha.
Tata paramahamsanam muninam amalatmanam yoga vidhanartham
katham pashyemahi striyaha.
Tatha paramahamsanam muninam amalatmanam bhakti yoga vidhanartham katham pashyemahi striyaha.
Tatha
paramahamsanam
muninam yoga vidhanartham katham pashyemahi striyaha.
katham pashyemahi striyaha.
It is okay, na? It's not no big philosophy or no big words, no twisters here. Is it okay for everyone?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu.
So the next 2 verses are the most favorite verses for everyone in Krishna consciousness. So no need to explain on this, but I'll just give a glimpse of what it is. Now she is, relating of how people could see you, or how people know you. You are actually not all these things. You are beyond all these things, but still people know you as a son of Krishna. I don't know what you say, Vasudeva. Okay, you know as a son of Devaki and Vasudeva. Actually, you are beyond all these things, but people know you as like this. So this is what this shloka means. And how she is relating to his own pure devotees. You become like you will be molded by your pure devotees. That is what you are. Actually, you are beyond all these things, but pure devotees can make you of anything. That's what she is praying in this. Okay, so this verse signifies bhakta, the importance of a bhakta, what Bhagavan can become for bhakta. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namah.
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namah.
Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namah.
Krishna
Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namah.
कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः।
कृष्णाय
नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः।
Okay, so the most favorite verse, na? Everyone likes this verse.
Sorry to
Yes,
interrupt.
Prabhu?
ఇది
Yeah.
నామ పంకజ నాభాయ ఇది కూడా చేస్తామా ఏంటి ఐడియా?
It's up to you, Prabhu. It's already 9:04 or 9:05, depending upon the devotees. This one, Prabhu, we will go slow, Prabhu. No worry and no this thing.
So
Yeah.
we will spend another 5 minutes to recite these two verses, Prabhu. Okay?
Yeah, it's okay. It's up to you, Prabhu. Now, if everyone wants to recite, let them recite.
Whoever can be able to recite, stay and recite. Whoever office work or you can log off, no problem. Okay. Thank you very much.
Prabhuji, earlier, na, when we used to do this from early 7 to 7:30, we used to bring our plates to this class. My counselor used to give us that freedom. Whoever wanted to eat, they can come and eat here, and then they can recite. That is the we don't know whether it is Bhagavatam class or anything, but that flexibility is always there. Huh? That's why we got attracted to Krishna consciousness, Prabhuji. Some people, they used to bring their plates and they used to eat with their office uniform, and then they used to go also. Yes, Prabhu, that's it. Hare Krishna. So, Mataji and Prabhuji, you can please go ahead with your practice, and we will wrap it off. Hare Krishna.
No, let me do it. Tata Paramahamsanam Muninam Amalatmanam Bhakti Yoga Vidhanartham Katam Pasyemahi Striyaha Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Yes, sir. Brahmarama Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji. Tada Paramahamsanam Muninam Amalatmanam Bhakti Yoga Vidhanardham Kadam Pashyemahi Striyaha Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Yeah, Mataji, Hare Krishna Mataji, sorry.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, Mataji, where are you from?
Yeah, Mataji, Hyderabad, Prabhuji.
I just wanted to think is, can she understand what we are speaking and where we are? That's what I wanted to know, Prabhuji, nothing more than that.
Yes, I can understand, Prabhuji, because I'm attending other classes.
Yeah, okay,
from
Mataji.
since 2 years, Bhagavad Gita classes and even Stutis also weekly once we do. I can understand.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you so much for joining in this call also and inspire us. Thank you, Mataji. Actually, Prabhuji, మన లీలాంగు ప్రభు గ్రూప్ లో మొన్న ఒక మెసేజ్ పెట్టాడు కదా, సత్సంగ్ 3 మీరు ఉన్నారు కదా ప్రభు గ్రూప్ లో. సత్సంగ్ 3 మాతాజీ వాళ్ళ ఇంట్లోనే దిస్ సండే తెల్లాపూర్ లో వాళ్ళ విల్లాలో.
I don't know, Prabhuji. I didn't see that message. I'm sorry.
Gachipalli Satsang group lo.
Please come. If you are here, please come to our.
Yeah, I can't come, Mataji, but still okay. Thank you so much for inviting me, Mataji.
Prabhuji lives in Tenali, Mataji. Is in
Tanuku, Prabhu.
Tanuku.
Oh, Tanuku is our native place, Prabhuji. Tetali and Voduru.
Eh?
Near the Tanuku.
Prabhu, Mataji, we will talk it later actually, because devotees might be waiting. Yeah, Tetali, Mataji, I will start. It goes somewhere. If you start.
Yes,
Thank you so much. But then I have some of my water drinking people here.
Carry on. Chalo, carry on. Me pan me చేసుకోండి. Yes.
How to be translating, Prabhuji?
Yeah, mere chadandi. You don't translations. Then other devotees then they can practice slokas.
You yourself decide to propagate the transcendental science of devotional service unto the hearts of the advanced transcendentalists and mental speculators who are purified by being able to discriminate between matter and spirit. How then can we women know you perfectly?
And this one answer it. Krishna Vasudeva.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Tadan Mataji, yeah, translation.
The same is there on the screen, Prabhuji. That's what I'm observing.
I think my phone itla a screen konjam jarpandi Mataji, so that you can see.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Second shloka, Mataji. 1.8.
Okay. Problem with the screen.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, Prabhuji, give chance to this because time should not be waste now.
Okay. Sir, now Deepa Mataji మీరు ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయండి అలాగే విత్ ఈ ట్రాన్స్లేషన్ చదవండి చేసినాక. Hare Krishna Mataji. Deepa Mataji. Anyway, otherwise, Samyukta Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. 2 shlokas translation చదవాలా Prabhuji?
ఒకటి ట్రాన్స్లేషన్ చదివింది మాతాజీ బ్రహ్మరామ మాతాజీ మీరు 21 శ్లోకం చేసి ట్రాన్స్లేషన్ చదవండి.
ఓకే ప్రభుజీ. తథా పరమహంసానాం మునినాం అమలాత్మనాం భక్తి యోగా విధానార్థం కథం పశ్యేమ హి స్త్రియః కృష్ణాయ వాసుదేవాయ దేవకీ నందనాయ చ నందగోపకుమారాయ Govindaya Namo Namaha. Translation. Let me therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto the Lord, who has become the son of Vasudeva, the pleasure of Devaki, the boy of Nanda, and the other cowherd men of Vrindavana, and the enlivener of the cows and the senses. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Deepa Mataji, Hare Krishna. So Mataji is now left, maybe busy. Devotees, other devotees.
Prabhuji, second one I will read, Prabhuji, now.
Yeah, you can read. Mataji already read, but you can, if you want, you can.
Let me therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto the Lord, who has become the son of Vasudeva, the pleasure of Devaki, the boy of Nanda, and the other cowherd men of Vrindavana, and the enlivener of the cows and the senses.
Enlivener of the cows and senses. Mataji, చిన్న స్లైట్ డిఫరెన్స్ మనం వసుదేవుడు వాసుదేవుడు చాలా డిఫరెన్స్ ఉంటుంది మాతాజీ. Who has become this son of Vasudeva. Vasudeva.
Okay. Vasudeva.
Krishna sir.
Okay, Prabhu. Vasudeva.
Slightly. Vasudeva and Vasudeva. కొంచెం దీర్ఘం ఉంటే అప్పుడు కృష్ణుడు అది. మా దీర్ఘం లేకపోతే వాళ్ళ నాన్న దేవకి వసుదేవులు అంటాం కదా, లైక్ దట్.
Become the son of Vasudeva.
Right. Yeah. Thank you, Mataji. Other devotees, Sandhya Mataji, Radhika Mataji, Prabhu. Yes,
I'll do. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.8.20. Tata Paramahamsanam Muninam Amalatmanam Bhakti Yoga Vidhanartham Katham Pashyema Istriham Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namah.
Very nice.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, shall I say, Prabhu?
Yeah,
Sure, Prabhu. Tata Paramahamsanam Muninam Amalatmanam Bhakti Yoga Vidhanartham Katham Pashyema hi Striyah Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
I can read Prabhuji next.
Chain. Thank you, Ramred Prabhu. Water తాగుతున్నా, రెస్పాండ్ కాల ఇమీడియట్ గా. Chain, Prabhu.
Tata Paramahamsanam Muninam Amalatmanam Bhakti Yoga Vidhanartham Katham Pashyema hi Striyah Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Lavanya, want to do?
Srimad Bhagavatam 1.8.20.
तथा परमहंसानां मुनीनाम् अमलात्मनां भक्तियोगविदाना
Muted somehow. I don't know.
कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः.
Thank you. మధ్యలో మ్యూట్ అయింది ఎందుకు ఇట్స్ ఓకే. That's fine. Now Radhika Mata is there, Sandhya Mata is there. Can you, both of you can be able to do?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. I'll do Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Radhika Mata, are you there?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
You want to do?
Yeah, Prabhuji, I'll do it.
Once Sandhya Mata is
Yeah, okay.
then
Yeah.
we will wrap up.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, shall I do?
Yeah. మీరే మీ తర్వాత రాధిక మాత.
Okay, Prabhuji. तथा परमहंसानां मुनीनाम् अमलात्मनां भक्तियोगविधानार्थं कथं पश्येम हि स्त्रियः. कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः.
జై. థ్యాంక్ యూ మాత. రాధిక మాత చేయండి.
Hare Krishna. तथा परमहंसानां मुनीनाम् अमलात्मनां भक्तियोगविधानार्थं कथं पश्येम हि स्त्रियः. कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः.
Thank you very much, all the wonderful devotees. So we will conclude the call. Okay, thank you so much again. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubheva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta koti vaishnava vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada transcendental book reading ki jai. Mitaya Kunti Premanande Hari
Hari
Hari Bol.
Bol.
Thank you very much. See you all tomorrow.
Yes.
Have Wednesday.